Shout out to our sponsors at IconBet. Open source, decentralized gaming, no deposits, play straight from your wallet. IconBet, made by the players, for the players. Eye on Icon is proudly supported by Icon Nation and the Icon community.
So how's the week been, Scott?
Good. Yeah, not bad. I'm in LA area right now.
Oh, okay.
Weather's nice. Yep.
Nice. And getting some sleep back in or in the routine?
I wouldn't say that necessarily.
Oh, that's not good. Shouldn't laugh. Um, hey, Scott, while we're waiting, I actually thought this is a bit side topic, but a good one. I wanted to pick your brain. So, the tweet you put out where you're investigating the basket aspect, for balanced, you were looking into innovating in a space.
Concentrated liquidity pool.
Yeah. Can you simplify that? I'm not following it. I've been meaning to hound you personally, but I thought, why not hound you on one of these chats?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely still kind of being fleshed out in terms of if we're actually going to pursue it. I think from a technology and economic perspective, it could work. I'm just not sure if it's going to have the best return on investment.
Okay.
But from simple terms, or as simple as I could put it, you would just, as an end user, you would just deposit BNUSD only into a giant pool. And then over time, not a giant pool, into a pool of BNUSD. And then over time, you would, people would sell synthetic assets to the pool. And the pool would try and flip those assets to other people as well for a profit. As opposed to having a liquidity pool where you have to deposit, let's say, synthetic Bitcoin and BNUSD. And it would be a Bitcoin and BNUSD only pool. This would take any type of asset, how current liquidity pools work, right?
Yep.
So this would be just what's it called? This would be a single asset deposit, and you would end up being able to trade in and out of multiple different types of assets.
Okay. So the swap.
Does that make sense to you or no?
I think so. So kind of like it's just a big bucket of BNUSD, and whatever swap is happening, it will just draw from that pool essentially.
Right, and that pool will then take on that asset, and then it'll try and sell it for a profit, ideally. But the main thing that we would need to do is charge an interest rate for selling assets to the pool. Would be kind of part of one of the necessary features. So.
Okay, we got Tezos. Yes, Tezos. Speak up.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm sorry for my English, but I don't know how to repay a loan in balanced.
You need to have BNUSD in your wallet, and then you in the top right tab. I don't have my computer in front of me. I want to say the button is adjust, and then you adjust it lower.
Oh, okay. Because it says here, rebalancing. It says traders can repay loans by selling BNUSD for $1 worth of ICX collateral.
Right. Yeah, that's not relevant to the to paying back. Yeah, you click the adjust button on the loan tab on the homepage, and that's it, and you're good to go.
I converted BNUSD to ICX because of that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay,
sorry. Adjust your loan to lower. Yep. All good.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Cool. Excellent. Oh, there you go, Scott. Even answering questions live. I love it. Okay, look, let's jump in to the session. I don't know, Andrew, I noticed even Brian in the background, if you could just share the link to a few more groups. I'm terrible at multitasking, but let's dive in. Today's session, Scott, I thought it would be cool to get a bit of news around the foundation, really focus around that. And look, I've got a whole bunch of questions and everyone's asked, so I'll get started. So the first things, it has become apparent that there's been a few people transition into different newer beginnings, however you want to put it, and that's quite normal. So we've seen a few exits and a few people come in. So I just thought maybe if you could give some context, what has driven some of that change, what's exciting about the new blood you've brought on, and what you're hoping to see happen from that. So could you talk us through a little bit of what's transpired in the foundation?
Yeah, no, I mean, we brought on some new hires, and definitely really excited. TJ coming out of school, he's been in the blockchain space for a while, following it. Reminds me a lot of myself in terms of like my interest in blockchain and how I got started with everything. So it's really nice to have him on the team and have some younger blood. And then we got Joris on the development side has been really a great addition to the team in terms of his passion for blockchain and the space and just following Bitcoin and being really involved in using D apps and knowing a lot what's going on in the public blockchain space. So yeah, really excited to have those two guys added to the team. And then we recently brought on two more people who I don't think you guys are familiar with them yet, but what's it called? They may introduce themselves. I don't want to just dox people.
Okay, cool. Well, you don't have to say who they are. What roles were they? What roles essentially have they come into in the?
It's on like the communication side, coordinating with like partners and stuff, helping like with announcements and branding and that kind of stuff.
Oh, excellent. Okay, great. So, so is that the? So I believe there's been some posts around a marketing lead, etc. Is that
right?
That
yeah,
one
exactly,
of the roles?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it. Yep.
Cool. So we've had a few more, and just a reminder, anyone can fire up and ask questions. All the regulars, good to see. So with the, I wanted to zone in. There's a lot of, obviously, we see a lot of tweets and things around the marketing component, but given that you've hired, from what I understand, there's one in Korea and one over here now. What are you hoping, Scott, personally, given you've been in the foundation from day dot? What are you hoping the marketing people who've come on board are going to? What do you want them to do? What are you hoping they will achieve? What are their goals?
Yeah, I'd say that they're gonna try and bring more awareness to Icon, get us involved in more conversations, and help us have a more cohesive brand, more cohesive like messaging across all of our different platforms. Having more time to communicate with potential partners and existing partners to try and push out more content, stuff like that. Working with influencers, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool. So that's great. Good. And then, Scott, once you touched on this, so a while back you put out a tweet and you gave a bit of a routine, a day in the life in what you do.
Right.
Could you talk us more instead of you like could you talk about how the team dynamic works in the foundation? How many times you'll get together? Kind of what are the things you'll discuss? What are some of your routines? Just to give everyone a bit more context, apart from everything else you do with Icon Station and all the other stuff and balanced, what is the core aspect in the foundation routines?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how to answer that. I don't know. I can only really speak for my routine, but I start off the day with stand-up, which is like the entire Western, people who are not based in Asia participate in stand-up with me. I don't know exactly if the Asia team has something similar. I imagine they do. So I start off with stand-up. We talk about what we're going to work on that day, and then kind of just get to work. And then I typically have my afternoons to do work, like actual work, and then like tasks, and then from like afternoon or evening towards like late in the night is when I'll have what's it called? Like we have our strategy call once a week where we're all on the line together. My ICX station call, balanced calls, like pretty much my nights are filled with calls, and then my days is when I typically take care of more like task oriented work. Did that answer your question? I don't know. I can really only speak too much for myself, but we do like the way that we work together, cross function and everything is mostly on our weekly strategy call, but we communicate on Slack a lot as well.
Okay. Yeah. No. That gives some insights. It's good. Okay. So look, and I'm going to throw this out there. So we often see Min tweet some updates which have been fantastic, and then in these updates, there's always this strategic partnerships. And one of them that has been highlighted consistently is we know about the STO tokenized real estate. So we'll pause on that. There's some questions around that a bit later. But I thought, Scott, could you give more context and examples of these strategic partnerships? I often do get a few questions. What does this imply? What does this mean? And I thought maybe you can expand on some of the various conversations that happen around strategic partnerships.
I would say, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of these questions are things that are kind of outside my my work. I could speak to like balanced partnerships, like with Band, are very helpful for like and then what was recently announced with OMM, like their strategic partners. I think like to me, a lot of it comes down to trying to get more awareness and more recognition for Icon. Like we got the get some good engagement with the with OMM's recent tweet from Hashed, and like having Band as a strategic partner is really helpful. Like overall, like the plan is to just try and get more promotion, like cross community promotion. So I think BTP is a great vessel for that. As we add other BTP partners, like these new communications hires can reach out to the BTP teams and try and get like do an AMA or something like similar to what you did with Edgeware, but just more consistently, more regularly, and more of like a regular cadence. But in terms of like what Min is talking about on any individual tweet, I can't really speak to that.
No, cool. No, fair enough. That's given some context as well. Okay, so I'll go over to some of the community questions as well now. So Steve here has asked, he wanted to ask what sort of future aspirations the Icon Foundation has for the My ID Alliance. And it goes on, do you have any specific business product plans or ideas for after Icon 2.0 and BTP?
As you're killing me, man. A question on my ID, like, why would you ask me that? Like, I don't work at Icon Loop. It's the same answer I'll give everyone on Telegram. I don't work at Icon Loop. I don't know anything about what they're working on. Like, it's great if My ID Alliance works out. I don't know their roadmap. I would check their website. That's all I can really say.
So, okay, wait. So, look, I'll expand on that. He says, as an example, could Icon create a public chain-based index fund with the My ID, and could it be made available? But I guess, okay, this is more, comes back to your, sorry, this was actually a question from James, and I confused that. But thanks, Scott. I get it. But these were the sort of questions that came through that people are keen to part of asking the foundation.
Yeah, no, of course. So. I'd like to know that stuff too, but like, that's it's not my job. So let's get someone. If you can get someone from Icon Loop on here, I'll be listening.
Okay. So I guess this next one now is from Steve. He was asking, so what's the current status of the migration for Icon 2.0? I noticed TJ's on the call. Do we have any updates on that, or?
Pretty sure there was some progress on the migration side. I think it's up to like around 40% last I checked.
That's good.
Or the last update I got. Is that right? TJ, jump in if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what we were told.
40%, that's great.
Yeah.
So, wait, I've got there we go. TJ, step in, your moment. I can see you muting and unmuting. You've been approved.
All right. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought I'd help Scott maybe field some of these questions since he's always getting berated with questions. But yeah, so I think right now, the most recent update we received was that it's basically 40%. There were, I think, a couple issues that arose where the team had to go back and program some things in GoLoop to make it just allow for the migration to continue. And I know that that team is putting together a document that should be out sometime this week to give more details on that. So hopefully we'll see that this week. And then you guys will have a bit more information on that, more detailed than maybe something I can give you.
No, I think an update. That's good. Oh, sorry.
I heard the P reps are now gonna be required to own like bonds or collateral in ICX.
That is true.
That's
That is true. I think that's an
awesome
important
because
update that's coming. Yeah.
yeah, that's gonna increase a lot of the security of the network, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And align incentives with PREPs and ICX longer term.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Scott,
Yeah.
do you want to just give that a bit more context, like currently versus
Yeah, he's
what
talking
that?
about the bond. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I thought just for anyone else.
Currently, the P reps are not required to own any collateral.
Yeah.
Right. They just have to burn 2,000 ICX to register, but and then from there, there's no requirement to own any ICX. And I think in just the context of general proof of stake, there should be some stake requirement by those that are securing the network.
Because then if they don't have any collateral, they can be bought off. With they can buy their boats. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Kind of.
And now that they own collateral, it's gonna be harder for the other people to buy them off.
Right. Yeah. And what's it called? Oh yeah, no, that's true. From the vote buying perspective, also it favors people who are invested in ICX as well.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Actually, honestly, there was an article last week saying there's going to be more news about 3.1 soon. And then on top of that, Icon 2.0, I was more interested in the updated 3.1. I'm keen to get stuck into that to see what some of the revisions there will be.
It's really just talking about we need to at some point decide what the inflation allocations are going to be for the various different buckets, which would be relays, PREPs, voters, and the CPS.
And that
so deciding just how to break it down there.
So once that gets put up, it'll go up for a vote, right? So
we'll have a default set, and then anything can be changed once it's live.
Cool. Okay. Good. Okay, so TJ, and some of these questions may be stepping in. A lot of these questions are going to be revolved around this stuff, Scott, that's come through. So let's see. We'll get through them. Whatever we can answer, we can answer. So this one I asked you the last week. However, maybe there's something come to light. So regarding ICE. So at the moment, have we got an idea, or when I say we, you and the team have an idea of when a date is going to be decided for the snapshot? And is there any more details around the technical specs of the ICE blockchain that is ready to be released?
Well, technical specs are pretty much are already available. We're working with a team called Parastate, and their GitHub is open source, and we're using their technology. So if anyone wants to take a look at it, they can see what we're using. And yeah, it's based on the Substrate SDK, which is used by a lot of different teams. And then in terms of a specific date, I don't have that just yet. It's going to be later this year after, after Icon 2.0 launches, that's for sure. We're definitely going to wait for post Icon 2.0 to, kind of reward the people that stuck through Icon 2.0 migration with us.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so Steve's asked this. He said, so apart from the tokenized real estate project, are there any other STO-based plans in the work that you would know of?
Not that I'm working on, yeah, or that I'm that I'm familiar with. I do know, Min and Ricky are working on have been working on a real estate project. That's going to be using Bridge, which is nice for a good user experience of going between dollars and stablecoins back to dollars. Cool. I'm actually pretty excited for that personally.
So
being able to buy a small amount of real estate would be pretty helpful. It's really difficult to actually invest in real estate. You have to invest a lot, and it's not liquid for many years.
Yeah. Yes, look, I've got exposure to this. Realty have been around and they've been doing this successfully for a bit, so very excited. And just if anyone didn't see Min's interview, I think it was with Reimagine uh, or LCX, where he actually said that a lot of that is already built, and Bridge is part of the key integration that is going to be
Right, and
used.
and the real estate market in the U.S.
That's right.
kind of became really hot, like as people were moving out of cities during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So as things are kind of calming down here, maybe it'll make more sense to deploy some
What is
capital
the
through
name of
bricks.
the project? Real estate project, so I can Google it.
It's not out yet. There's no landing page or anything, but I do know that development is fairly far along.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Scott, on that, it's going to use Bridge. It's being built now. Is there a point where you envision this real estate, tokenized real estate that launches on the Icon chain? We'll use those tokens as assets on balance as well. Is
Yeah,
there
that could be
plans for that?
interesting. I
Yeah.
do ultimately like the strategy that I've been thinking for balanced in terms of return on investment is adding more collateral types. I think is going to be the most lucrative for for the balanced DAO, like to increase the value of the DAO fund.
Yes.
Origination fees drive the most revenue. So, maybe even a slight increase in origination fees. I mean, 1%, that translates to a 1% annual interest rate, which is extremely low.
Mm.
So that's something else maybe we could consider as a DAO to raise the origination fee at some point, especially considering there's still balance token incentives for borrowers. So, yeah, I mean, adding more collateral and trying to maximize origination fee income is kind of what I have in mind. And like you said, tokenized real estate could help with that, so long as it's properly underwritten.
Yep. Okay, cool. Now, I have another question here. It's kind of a big one, and I've been trying to break it up, but it's probably best, Scott, I read it out to you, and you'll see what he's trying to get at over here. So, could you elaborate on the decentralized strategies? Some initiatives are known, but maybe no longer in effect, and others might not be known. The Icon Foundation not staking their entire ICX treasury is a known strategy which dilutes their own share. Funding initiatives from before the CPS was another. Creating teams like ICX Station from the foundation team members is another strategy, he assumes. Min and Ricky pursuing centralized projects like Icon Fi and tokenized real estate platform is another. Anything you're able to share would be awesome. So is there, apart from these initiatives, is there anything else, any other initiatives being driven out by the foundation?
I would actually say that was a really good synopsis. I don't know who asked that question, but that was really, that's definitely seeing between the lines as we all kind of move toward a more decentralized protocol. Like even myself personally, like I used to be way more involved in like core icon stuff, and now I've transitioned more to balanced. But of course, I still participate in icon strategy calls and take care of icon related work, and that's kind of like the natural progression as we bring on new people and kind of how we want a career at icon to work. Pretty much is you start off working on the core protocol, and then during that time you can kind of come up with your own idea of how to use the technology, and and then kind of branch off into your own product, because in the end, products that are built using Icon's technology are the most is how you add the most value to the protocol. So I would say that's really just kind of turned into the model. So is there anything else in the works specifically? Yeah, there are some things that are going on in the background. Potentially expanding, like I would say ICE is going to be another great opportunity for this, to bring on more development teams to be active in our ecosystem. We're talking to 3 different teams, some of them already involved, some of them not. And, just continuing with this type of model, I would say. Just that was really, really observant, I would say, by whoever wrote that.
I was muted. That's our regular Steve who asks
Steve, very observant, Steve.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we're trying to do. So continue decentralizing, continue building more products, and eventually, like the core protocol should be self-sustaining once we get BTP going, and we can do like marginal enhancements to BTP and stuff. But eventually, the core protocol should just be more in the background, and it should be more product focused.
Yep.
Or everyone should be more product focused, I guess, is the point.
Okay, so thank you, Scott. Now, I do have a couple of, sorry, I've been missing these, some DMs coming through with questions. Now, I think both of these are around the same nature, so I'll ask it from Eric and Future Coin Buys. So it's around the snapshot. Now, Scott, you've touched on this before. Will the snapshot, and I'm guessing for ICE, this is strictly ICE, not airdrops. The snapshot for ICE, you're working hard to ensure all collateral that any ICX that's SICX or put up as collateral will be included in that snapshot?
Yeah. So will deposits on balance be included? Definitely. We'll figure it out. Pretty much the way it's going to work is that, there'll be 1-for-1 drop for all ICX. So some of that will go into the SICX staking pool. And then from there, like the SICX developers, which are all balance developers, will be able to figure out how to allocate it to balanced SICX holders, and we'll be good to go.
Cool. I'm hoping that answered your questions. Yeah, I think just everyone in the call and anyone who listens, the only time at the moment it's the airdrips. So if the collateral is used, that it doesn't qualify for the airdrips. And you know what? That's across other chains as well. So it's just the process. And
yeah, I mean, it's a claiming thing. Like the airdrips are meant for customer acquisition. So
exactly.
if someone's already a customer, it doesn't really make any sense. And then on top of that, just the way that it's designed, it's a claim function, while the ICE airdrop is going to be just like, drop to everyone's wallet. So it's a little different.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Since I have, go Tezos.
Oh no,
anyone who's asking questions, take it.
I need to say goodbye. You guys keep the hard work. I love balance, by the way. I gotta
awesome.
go.
Thanks, man. Yeah, really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in.
Thanks for joining.
See you guys.
Bye.
See ya.
TJ, Scott, I'll give you a short rest. TJ, since you've joined, I might as well hound you. Did you want to just talk about CPS? Any updates on that front, given that is your focus area since we last spoke? Have you got anything you want to share with the community?
Yeah, I guess we can talk a bit about CPS. So, I guess initially since the price of ICX went down the last application or voting period, there were a couple budget adjustment requests, and that hadn't really happened in the CPS. So hadn't been, I guess, tested in the wild per se, and there ended up being issue or two with that the budget adjustment request, as well as like adding time to a milestone. So the CPS development team has been working on fixing those issues, and they actually just finished those at the end of last week. So in terms of like I guess improvements that we were looking to do on the CPS, like the stablecoin treasury and a couple user experience changes, we haven't really gotten to those yet. That's kind of like a to-do for this week to continue that conversation now. But the CPS team was able to fix the budget adjustment issues, and all the teams got the ICX that was requested. So that's just another thing that is now something that we won't have to worry about for the future. So in terms of like CPS development, that's where we're at right now, is about to get started on some of those initial changes. But we also think added 150,000 ICX from the foundation node rewards last week to the CPS. So it's at 235,000 ICX for available funds. Other than that, I know me and you have talked a bit about future changes to the CPS Fez, but I guess those are still a little bit more speculation. I don't know how much you really want to talk about that.
No. Those are just you and me conversations. I wasn't going to put you on the spot with that.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate you always reaching out and talking through ideas. You don't have to, but it's great taking community feedback in as well. Hey, on that 200, the 150,000, let's in future let's start making some noise around that. Obviously, it will change once Icon 2.0 comes because automatically inflation will go there. But Scott, this is probably one of the aspects as well. I think people aren't used to it, and when they don't realize there's consistent updating of CPS funds, they start. I don't know. People seem to think, oh, should we approve projects, etc., etc., and they look at that final figure in the fund, going, oh, they want this much. That'll leave the fund with so little, etc. So I think yeah, we should make some noise when CPS until Icon 2.0 comes out. When CPS gets updated, we kind of tweet it out and go a bit crazy. There's more funding in there.
No, I definitely agree. Yeah, should be shared.
Cool. TJ, I'll start hounding you about that. Awesome, love it.
I did tweet about it and it had 25 retweets and 100 likes. So
how am I missing these tweets?
Wow.
Yes, I am. Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, just not in my face.
I think, yeah.
Nice, TJ. Nice.
I'm on top of it.
Got him.
Good. I'm gonna go looking through your profile and tweet this out as well in my excitement. Cool. Okay. Hey, so look, I don't have any more questions. Scott, I thought, is there anything from a balance perspective you wanted to talk about, since we had quite a lot on the call today as well, on the call and the spaces? Is there any updates, things you want to share?
I guess, yeah, I did touch on it earlier, just kind of the focus on origination fees is just like considering return on investment. I'm not saying like we're never going to have other synthetic assets besides BNUSD, but in terms of generating more value for the protocol, I feel like adding as many assets as possible as collateral is something that we could see start to happen. I think like I still need to talk it over more with the smart contract devs because we're all pretty focused on hitting this month's timeline, which is going to be very governance focused. But I would like to see maybe we can use the Orbit bridge. They have a bridge from Ethereum to Icon, which is live already. So we could use Ethereum as collateral unbalanced. We could use there's a number of assets that we could kind of bring over from the Ethereum ecosystem and start promoting that and getting more originations of BNUSD. So really looking forward to that. And then like not only that, like the end of this month, having the governance set up so we can start making some changes. Like I definitely am excited to get staking rewards for balance token holders outside of just the network fees. So also getting like kind of like a stimulus, if you will, of using some of the inflation to reward balance token holders. Definitely excited for that conversation. We also just finished the governance forum. I'm planning on populating that with some initial topics of discussion and then, tweeting it out and getting some engagement going either tomorrow or the next day, depending on how things go. So over the next 2 months, what I'm hoping to do is get some good governance discussion, some governance changes, and then hopefully some more collateral types.
So this is interesting, and I just thought of it as well. So once we have the proposals and you're going to put some ideas, and I'm sure people are going to have a lot of ideas and they get voted on, how will it work with the team picking up? How will you make priority calls versus what the team needs to do from an infrastructure just in the background that wouldn't generally come to the proposal, to the forums as proposals, versus how many proposals get put through and what gets prioritized to get built next? How will that work from a workload perspective?
Well, I think like from from things getting built, I don't necessarily think that's the type of stuff that we vote on and have governance on. Like anybody can build anything, like it's an open source project. And we also plan on open sourcing the front end so more people can contribute if they have a feature that they want in the front end, or there's a bug that they just want to get fixed and want to prioritize, they can work on it and we can merge it. That's kind of the nature of a DAO and a decentralized protocol. The team is going to be working on our own priorities, but the governance side of things is more like changing parameters, which doesn't require any team intervention at all. So there could be like, all right, we want to raise origination fees from 1% to 2%. And then that gets put to a balance token weighted vote. And so the initial version will have, user initiated votes on testnet is our plan. And then people who like go through the effort to submit a proposal on testnet, then the team will submit that proposal on mainnet on their behalf, because that's kind of like a very something that we want to do a little more testing on before we release it. It would be like users being able to submit their own votes, since that can make some pretty crazy changes to the protocol. So yeah, that's kind of how it's going to work. Is the governance is going to be more about like parameter changes. Should we do something versus should we not? We can have like discussions like that, but in my view, like the majority of the proposals are going to be kind of automated things, like should we increase fees, should we decrease them, should we lower the collateral requirement, should we increase it, stuff like that.
Yep. Okay. I've got a few more, but I've got Data Man. He's requested to step up. Did you have a question? No. Okay, he'll speak up when he wants. Okay, no, that's good. I think when the time comes, it'll be interesting what gets put up in the proposal. Jack, I've just approved your request. You can ask away. No? Okay, we'll wait.
Technical difficulties over here.
Yeah. I think we lost Jack. He'll come back in. Okay. So from my point, just going back to adding collateral types, I think this is an interesting, and in the background, I've been hounding you a little bit around this, but yes. So you mentioned using Orbit Bridge. I guess, I don't know if you can comment on this, Scott, but two-part question. If the more we start pulling assets via Orbit Bridge, the I assets, what implications, or what then happens once BTP launches? Because obviously BTP will have its own tokenized variation of those bridged assets.
So not out of the gate, which is why we would consider Orbit Bridge, because BTP is not, we haven't announced a connection to Ethereum. We don't have one yet.
Of course,
the reason
of course.
is because
okay.
we can't get Ethereum. So that's why where Orbit Bridge comes into play.
Ah, yes. There you go.
But we can get Ethereum with we have some specification for BTP 2.0, but I'm not trying to wait for BTP 2.0 and the first version is not even out yet for balanced adding other types of collateral. So I think we'll likely go with Orbit Bridge. I still want to talk it over with the team and think about it.
Of course. Okay, that makes sense. So anything that's native, like the Polkadot chain, the Polkadot parachains, etc., that would just default.
We'll bring
to
that with BTP, Near Protocol, Harmony, Binance Smart Chain, all those assets. We can use BNB through BTP for collateral unbalanced.
So I think the next part that I wanted to talk and get your views live on. So, with balance, I feel because staking ICX and getting rewards has just been, from day dot since launch, we've been doing it, kind of taking it for granted. And then when you use the collateral in balance, you don't realize you're still getting your staking rewards, because after a while you kind of get numbed to that, right? So we've got this asset that generates interest, and we can now use those collateral while not losing our interest. Is there a bit of a push that we can kind of target more proof of stake assets in that way for balance, using the same infrastructure, just like ICX, let's say ETH, we know ETH is now becoming a proof of stake asset as well. Is that how we look to integrate some of the other assets? Is that a bit of what the team is trying to aspire to do?
Yeah, I think that could be interesting. Like, what we would need to do is bridge over assets like, how we have SICX. Like, I know in the Polkadot ecosystem, there's something called LDOT, which is liquid dot.
Yep.
So we would bridge over LDOT to Icon. And then you would still earn your dot staking rewards and be able to deposit it as collateral unbalanced. That would be an example.
Yeah, that because that similar exists for ETH and a few others as well. So cool. No, that's you've answered that. I'm really hoping that's the direction we go down because and on that, Scott, what because ICX and SICX is built in that way. Would they all, if we went down other proof of stake chains, would they all have to be built in a similar way? Like what I'm getting at is, could it could the fundamentals be change of other assets where some of that, I mean, I'm going really far-fetched here, but the yield on those, say, ETH or DOT or whatever, like if they're earning 8%, could 2% of that be put away into the treasury or something to build out another feature, etc.? Or would it have to follow, I guess, the same parameters as SICX to, so that the smart contracts, it's easier to build, etc.?
It wouldn't have to follow that route, but everything that you just described, that would need to be handled on the native chain. So if we would need to develop like a custom version of LDOT that people would use, and some of those staking rewards would go towards balanced or something like that, like you described. But to me, I don't know. I don't think that's like I don't think people like sacrificing their staking rewards, although we have seen that on some other protocols. But I know in the Icon ecosystem, like the number one question I got before Balance launched was, am I still going to get my staking rewards? So, to have like a really sustainable, like long-term sustainable platform, you can't have 12% opportunity cost just to use your product, or no one's going to use it. Like the staking rewards on Icon are like 10 to 12% normally. And like, like while there's high inflation and balance tokens are being given out to borrowers, and you're getting like 85%, you're getting paid 85% to borrow from Balanced. Yeah, people won't care about their staking rewards, but at some point in the future, like Balanced is supposed to be a product that survives without marketing incentives, without insane customer acquisition cost of just giving out a ton of tokens. That's kind of how protocols bootstrap, but that's not a long-term strategy.
Yes, no, I agree as well. Cool. No, that's good. Look, oh, here we go. Jack's back. I'm just proving it. Hey, Jack. No. Okay.
Jack is not back.
He hasn't gotten disconnected though. Okay. Cool. No, look, Scott, anything else you wanted to? Oh, there we go, Jack.
Hey, sorry guys. I have a question for probably Scott about Balanced, and that is that other DeFi platforms like Aave or Curve or Balancer, when you supply liquidity, they actually give you a liquidity provider token on chain. And right. It looks like Balanced doesn't do that. I was just wondering what the rationale was for that.
So it's a good question, and I'm glad you asked. So we do give you liquidity provider tokens, but we just don't show them to you. I know that as a user, I've never really cared how many tokens I have. Like I have 3,000 LP tokens. Like that's kind of like meaningless to me. The LP token number itself is fairly meaningless to the end user. The only time you end up using them is when you're staking your liquidity, like to earn rewards from a different product. So I think you'll start seeing your LP tokens on Balanced once we have other products that are using the Balanced exchange and want to reward their users. So, for example, OM might do that. So you would have the OMM against ICX pool, for example, and maybe OMM wants to reward people for being LPs there. You would LP on Balanced. You would still never see your LP tokens because, we don't see a need to display them to people. And then you would go to OM's landing page and they would say, do you want to stake your LP tokens from Balance to earn more OM rewards? And then that's when you would see them.
That's great. Thanks. I think I can only think of one user that's very interested in liquidity provider tokens, and that's the tax authority. So that's where my question is coming from.
Got it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, you could check that at any time if you want to DM me on Telegram. I can tell you how to check your LP token holdings.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thanks, Jack, for asking a question again. Great. Okay, Scott, look, that's all I had as well. If, again, open forum, if anyone else wants to ask some questions, but if not, yeah, I'm good. I've asked everything. I'm excited about, I am very excited about the community board launching. I think, Scott, you'll be very surprised at what you'll see being put forward. I personally feel, just going through recently, I've
You
been
got
going through
something
a
up
lot
your
of.
sleeve, Hez?
No, I've been going through various protocols forums in the same way, and I've just been very surprised at how much input or decision or something that forward thinking has come from various community members that aren't involved in those protocols. So I think we'll start to see a lot of that coming through with Balanced as well, which will get everyone's thinking caps on on your side.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I don't have any secret thing up my sleeve. All of that I've already told TJ, and I hound him regularly about it.
He does.
Cool.
That's facts.
Cool. Okay. Well, look, if there's nothing else, Scott, if you don't have any closing words, that's another solid 50 minutes there. Apart from some questions that I know you had no control over, the rest of the discussions was extremely insightful, I found. So especially some of the balance stuff was really good as well. Thank you, Scott, for sharing as always.
Glad I could help us.
Cool. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And same time next week. If you have some topics you want to hear about, let me know and we'll schedule it around that. But yeah, once again, thanks, everyone.
Yep. See you guys.
Bye, Scott. See you, TJ.
See you, everyone.